Conspiracy theories are often dismissed as nonsense, as the product of irrational thinking, or as the territory of people who have lost touch with reality. But if we look closely, they're not just wild stories about shadow governments, faked moon landings, or secret reptilian overlords. They are windows into the human mind itself. They reveal the way we search for meaning, the way we cope with uncertainty, and the way our deepest psychological needs shape the stories we believe. In other words, to understand conspiracy theories is to understand ourselves. At the heart of it all lies one simple truth: humans are pattern-seeking creatures. Our brains are wired to connect the dots, even when no dots exist. This instinct isn't a flaw, it's the very thing that kept our ancestors alive. Imagine walking through the wilderness and hearing a sudden rustle in the bushes. If you assume it's nothing and ignore it, you could end up as prey. If you assume it's danger and run, the worst outcome is that you look paranoid. Evolution favored those who saw patterns everywhere, even in randomness. But this survival instinct has a side effect. We're prone to seeing intentional design in chaotic events, to believing that nothing happens by accident. When something massive occurs, a terrorist attack, a global pandemic, the assassination of a leader, our brains desperately try to fit it into a larger narrative. The thought that something so impactful could be the result of random chance feels unbearable. This is where conspiracy theories offer comfort. They transform chaos into order. They replace the anxiety of this was random and uncontrollable with the certainty of this was planned. And certainty, even when it is frightening, feels safer than the abyss of the unknown. This is known as proportionality bias, the human tendency to believe that big events must have big causes. If a president is assassinated, it can't just be the act of one disaffected individual. There must have been a hidden network, a larger conspiracy pulling the strings. To accept otherwise would mean accepting that the world is far more fragile than we want it to be. But conspiracy theories don't just give us explanations, they give us belonging. To believe in one is to join a tribe. Conspiracies divide the world into two groups: the ignorant masses who are being deceived, and the enlightened few who see through the lies. This structure is deeply appealing because it gives believers a sense of identity and superiority. They are not just people, they are truth seekers. They are awake while everyone else is asleep. And for people who feel powerless, invisible, or alienated, this can be intoxicating. A conspiracy theory becomes more than just a belief. It becomes a community, a badge of identity, a way of feeling significant in a world that often makes individuals feel small. The psychology here is powerful. Humans have always relied on groups for survival, and our sense of self is deeply tied to belonging. Conspiracy theories tap into this primal need by offering a ready-made group identity, one built on the thrill of forbidden knowledge. This is why attempts to debunk conspiracies often backfire. If someone has built their identity around being part of an exclusive truth, presenting them with evidence doesn't just challenge their ideas, it threatens their sense of self and their community. And instead of changing their minds, people often double down. In psychology, this is known as the backfire effect, and it explains why arguing facts rarely works. Layered on top of these needs are the cognitive biases that shape all human thought. Confirmation bias makes us pay attention to the information that confirms what we already believe, while ignoring what contradicts it. The illusion of explanatory depth convinces us we understand complex topics more than we actually do, which is why so many people confidently lecture about virology or geopolitics after reading a few posts online. The availability heuristic makes us think that if we've seen a dramatic event, it must be common or part of a larger pattern. And once all these biases are activated, they build a mental fortress around conspiracy theories, making them resistant to outside challenge. Social media has only amplified this psychology. The algorithms that govern online platforms are designed to reward content that is emotional, dramatic, and shareable. Conspiracy theories are perfectly engineered for this environment. They are shocking, fear-inducing, and often framed as the truth they don't want you to know. Every like, Every comment, every share acts as validation, turning individual suspicions into a collective narrative. What might once have remained a fringe belief whispered in small groups can now spread to millions overnight, gaining the illusion of legitimacy simply because so many people are repeating it. In this sense, conspiracy theories are no longer just reflections of psychology, they are business models exploited by those who profit from attention. And yet, if we step back, we see that conspiracy theories are not anomalies. They are part of a broader human story. They are cousins to myths, legends, and religious narratives that for thousands of years helped people explain the mysteries of the world. When lightning struck, ancient people believed it was Zeus. When crops failed, they believed it was punishment from the gods. Today, when something massive and tragic happens, we don't always turn to gods, we turn to conspiracies. In both cases, we are searching for meaning, for order, for a story that makes sense of what feels senseless. This raises an uncomfortable question: are conspiracy theorists really so different from the rest of us? Or are they just expressing, in an extreme form, the same psychological needs that we all share? After all, we all want control. We all want belonging. We all want to believe that events are guided by reason, not randomness. And while not everyone believes in conspiracies, almost everyone has experienced the pull of magical thinking at some point, the sense that something happened for a reason or that hidden forces are at work. In the end, the psychology of conspiracy theories isn't just about why some people believe strange things. It's about what those beliefs reveal about human nature. They show us that we are pattern seekers living in a chaotic world. They show us that certainty, even false certainty, can be more comforting than doubt. They show us that belonging and identity are so essential that we will sometimes twist reality to protect them. And they show us that in the battle between reason and emotion, it is often emotion that wins. So maybe the better question isn't why do people believe in conspiracy theories, but how could they not? Because as strange and unbelievable as these theories can seem, they are ultimately built on the same psychological foundations that shape all human thought. And in that sense, conspiracy theories are not just about them, they're about all of us.